going to start off with graphing linear equations in standard form. Now we're going to start with 2x plus y equals 3. That's an example. It's already in standard form. Let me write that there. This is in standard form. And we're going to have to do something to this to make it easier for us to graph this equation. So the first thing we got to do, we have to translate it from standard form to slope-intercept form. And this is just going to make our job of graphing so much easier. So we start off with 2x plus y equals 3. And to translate from standard form to slope-intercept form, which, by the way, is y equals mx plus b, we're going to need to get y all by itself. So right here, here's y, but y is not by itself. Y has 2x right next to it. We have to get that 2x to the other side and get y by itself. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. That allows us to cancel out that 2x there, and we're left with y equals minus 2x plus 3. Some of you may be asking, but why don't we write it as 3 minus 2x? We could, but we need to make it look like slope-intercept form right there, where the number and the x come first, and then the y-intercept. So if we have it here, we have mx plus b. So just to write that underneath, so we see that we have the same form, y equals mx plus b. What this tells us right here, this equation, is that our y-intercept is plus 3. What that means is that we're going to look for 0, 3 on the y-axis, and we're going to put a point there. So we'll look at that in a moment. What we can also get from this is that our slope is negative 2. And what that tells us is that after we graph that point on the graph, we're going to use negative 2 to determine the next point. Now, in a previous video, I explained that when you have a whole number like that, even if it's negative, you have to write it as a fraction. The slope is rise over run. Now that negative 2 on top means we go down 2. That positive 1 on the bottom means we go to the right 1. Well, what that tells us is after we graph that point, we have to go down 2 points and go to the right 1 point, and we'll find the next point of the line. So let's draw ourselves a little XY coordinate here. Sure you always label the axes y and x. 0, 3, we're going to have to make at least 3 little tick marks here. I'm going to make 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do more, but I was just going to make this really complicated looking, and we're just trying to get an idea. So, like I said, we're going to look at the y-intercept, 0, 3. We're going to find that on the y-axis. So here's where x is 0, and then 3 means we go up 1, 2, 3. So here's our y-intercept right there. Even label it y-intercept. I'm going to use INT for short. It's right there. Now our slope we said we go down 2 from there. So we go down 1, 2, and we go to the right one, 1. And that's our next point. Let me get a protractor here so I can easily draw the straight line. And there we go. We have a linear. Oh, it's not a linear equation. It's just a line. We have our line. So, just to review real quick. Give you a moment to draw that. Alright, enough time on that. We started with an equation in standard form. Then, we translated it into slope-intercept form to do that. And using that form right there, we determined the y-intercept, found it on the graph right here, determined the slope, -2, so we knew that we had to go down 2 and over 1, we went down 2 and over 1, and we got our second point, which allowed us to draw the line. Now one thing you should always remember is when you draw a line, it's really a good practice to label it. So you can say that this is the line for this equation. Boom. We finished. Now we're going to do one more example, just to make sure you understand what's going on. Turn to the next page and find my place here. There we go. Alright, another example. A little bit more challenging, where y has actually a number next to it. Be 4x minus 2y equals 6. Alright, so our first step. Do you remember? That's right. Go from standard form to slope-intercept form. Remember what that is? That's y equals mx plus b. Alright, so we have to get y by itself here, just like we have it here. So we're going to start off with 4x minus 2y equals 6. First thing we're going to do, always want to do this, you want to move the x over to the other side of the equal sign. Just move that whole thing, easiest step to do. So we're going to go ahead and subtract it. The reason why we're subtracting, in case you're wondering, that's a positive 4x. So we have to do the opposite. If that's positive, we have to get rid of a positive. So we're going to subtract 4x. That brings that to 0. So if we do that to the left, the equal sign says we have to do it to the right. Allows us to get rid of those guys there. And you get negative 2y equals, remember we have to keep this in mx plus b form. So I'm not going to write 6 minus 4x. No. I'm going to write negative 4x plus 6. Keep in that same form, mx plus b, negative 4x plus 6. It keeps the form. But we're not done yet. Y cannot have a number next to it. It needs to be all by itself. So we're going to have to do something with that negative 2. And again, we have to look at opposite operations. If that's negative 2 times y, times multiplication, we have to divide by negative 2. So we're going to divide the left by negative 2. But by doing that, we have to divide everything on the right by negative 2. Divide negative 4 by negative 2. Divide 6 by negative 2. When we do that, we get the following. Negative 2's, those cancel. So you're left with y. And you have negative 4 divided by negative 2. Well, negative 4 divided by negative 2 turns out to be 2. So we can rewrite that as 2x. 6 divided by negative 2 simplifies into negative 3. So we can write negative 3. And there, we have just translated the equation from standard form and to slope-intercept form. So now we're able to pick it apart and graph it. So let's look at this here, our y-intercept. And this is why it really helps to put it in slope-intercept form. It just makes this part of the job really easy. You're like, all right, my y-intercept is this whole thing right here, -3 or -3. You may wonder, why do you include the negative? You have to include everything here, everything to the right of x. If that was +3, we would circle +3 as well. So whether it's plus or minus, we have to circle the whole thing and put it right there. Then we have to think about that. All right, -3. What does that mean to us? It has to be a point, some point on the graph that we're graphing. In fact, it's 0, -3 on the y-axis. The y-intercept is only on the y-axis. It's where the y-axis is like a net, and imagine that this line is going through that net. It wants to know at what point does the line catch, at what point does the axis catch the line. So 0, -3, the y-axis being straight up and down is right when x equals 0. So that's why it's 0, -3. Anyways, next part of this graph, or part of this equation, is slope, because it is the slope-intercept form. You get to look at that. And our slope is +2. Remember, we can't just say +2. +2, there's more to it, because slope has to be in the fraction form. So +2 must equal 2/1. But since it's +2, it goes up 2, and since it's +1 on the bottom, it goes to the right 1. So now we have the point to start with, and we know which way to go from there. So let's draw our graphs here. Last time I drew it freehand. Now I'm going to draw it with a ruler. Put some more precision into this, because as mathematicians we should always attend to precision. There we go. And remember what we're supposed to do with our graph? Label our axes, y and x. Alright, so our y-intercept is that and that, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do 4 tick marks on each axis point here. Boom. Alright. Start with the y-intercept. This is 0, -3. Well, we look along the x-axis and it's not 0 yet. It's 0 right here, right on the y-axis. And we have to go down -3. So -1, -2, -3. And that is our y-intercept. Y-intercept. Then we're going to look at the slope. Slope says it's up 2 and over 1. So slope means it goes up 2 and it goes over 1 to that point right there. Alright, we found our second point. And we're going to draw a nifty little line through it. Oh, we just graphed our second point. Now we graphed the whole line. So there we go. We looked at 2 examples, looking at an equation in standard form, converted it to slope-intercept form, and we're able to draw the graph from that. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them below in the comments section, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.